suicide, right? Because we're not taught to ask for help. And that's why I'm here today. Because I see so many of you that I can connect with, partner up with. It's most of my clients are 95% on single moms. They have no money for coaching services. They have no money for attorney. They dedicated their life to stay-at-home mom, 15, 20 years. Now the husband wants a divorce. They have no savings. They have no college degree now. They have no experience. How are you going to raise your kids now? Sometimes, you know what, they have no child support. They have no alimony, nothing. Where do they end up? On the street, on the bridge. Kids get taken away. No one talks about this stuff, right? We're all battling in silence. That's why I am here today. Talk about that, bring their awareness that, hey, I need you guys' help. I want to talk about it, bring it up, because it's not being talked about. Way too many business owners, entrepreneurs going through this, but they have no one really to turn to. They're trying to figure out on their own. What happens? They go from one marriage, one relationship to another. But if we don't break those generational curses, that patterns will keep repeating over and over. Right? You cannot replace a person, but you're still the same person as you were. Nothing will change. Nothing will change. So, thank you very much. And when we put a lot of tension, a lot of stress, what happens? It breaks, it snaps, right? But now, if I have 3 individuals and I wrap that cord around their arms, around their wrists, right? If there's a lot of stress, if there's a lot of pressure that is coming from our jobs, from our family, from a relationship, what happens? Now, Anna can rely on Eva. Eva can rely on Anna, and so on and vice versa. Look at the power that we have now together. When we conquer it all together, right? All as 3. So this is the strength, ladies and gentlemen. So I would like to snap this image. Visualize a cord on your wrist. That we all are connected. When you go through stuff in your life, through difficulties, through challenges, when you feel like you're a failure, you know that you're part of this cord. And you can call, you can reach out, you can rely on. Thank you. Thank you. I love this quote. Do you know who Mother Teresa is?
Yes.
Right? A lot of you do, right? I love her as well. So I cannot alone change the world, but I can cast a stone across the waters and create many ripples. I love that stuff. Because this is what I feel I'm doing here right now today. Throwing the rock into the water, creating the ripple effects. There is no coincidence why are we all here in this room. No coincidence at all. So the two outcomes that I would like you to walk away today is create the awareness, how forgiveness, self-love, mindset help divorced men and women heal, and not only business owners, entrepreneurs. And the second outcome would be the awareness of our power together in rebuilding broken society devastated by the divorce. With the raise of your hands, how many of you have been through a divorce? Yeah, I would say 50%. 50% of us. I travel, I speak at many conferences. No one really talks about divorce. No one does. So what I like to do now is share who am I? Who is Marcin? Who is this guy? So I was born in Poland, in southwestern Poland. I grew up in a village. My dad was a construction worker, he was a bricklayer. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, and she did accounting on the side. Growing up in a village was super hard. I had 2 younger brothers, so I had to help out after school in the fields, and so on, but it was fun. So at the age of 12, my mom got my brothers with my dad and said, we're moving to United States. I didn't even know United States, I didn't even know countries outside Poland that they even exist. So I'm like, okay, we're moving. So basically my mom's whole life, she packed us in 5 suitcases. We moved to Chicago, here. So when I was 12 years old, in 1995, I moved to this beautiful city of Chicago. Acclimating to this country, to this state, it's been super hard, especially not knowing the English language. Can you imagine right now going to China and try to learn their language? My God, it was horrible. So, went to elementary school, went to high school, went to college, got my degree, and I was very fortunate. I was the three brothers to go to college. My two other brothers chose to go different careers. I always wanted to troubleshoot things, especially electronics, repair things around the house, washer, dishwasher, fridge, and things like that. And then I wanted to become an electrician. But what I decided to do in college was become electronic repair technician. I loved electronics, troubleshooting printed circuit boards. That was my world, looking at blueprints, troubleshooting, soldering, desoldering things. After college, when I graduated, I met my sweetheart. I was 19 years old, 18 years old. So my first girlfriend became my first wife. And we got married. At the age of 21, I got married. And I always told myself that what I want to do is I want to travel. I want to do things before we have kids. And we did that. We both had good careers. We traveled, we did things. And then later on, we bought our first home. Our son Aiden was born, and then later on our daughter Victoria was born. Life was good, but as many of us are parents, how much time, dedication it takes to work a full-time job, to be a dad, to be a mom. And what happened is, as the time goes on, we fell into this trap. We fell into the daily routine of work, come home, cook, clean, do the homework with kids, go to different activities, and do the same thing over and over, very repetitive things. And what really started happening in my marriage is that we started to grow apart. We didn't do things together like we used to do. We didn't have date nights, we didn't have dinner nights, we didn't have us time, me and you time. And one day, my wife tells me that, you know what, I would like to take some time apart. And that really caught me off guard. Like, what do you mean, take some time apart? Well, maybe you can go to your parents' house for a couple days, couple weeks, and then we'll see what happens. But I thought everything was fine. There was no argument, no problems or anything. I'm like, okay. So it was between Christmas and New Year, so I took my both kids. I went to my parents' house, we stayed there for Christmas, New Year's, and then after New Year's, it was like January 2nd, I was going back to work, kids were going back to school, it was Sunday evening around 5 p.m., we're going back home. So we get home, and it's dark, pitch black, no one's home, my wife wasn't home. So I parked in the garage, we entered the house, and kids turn on all the lights in the house, they run into their rooms because they miss their home, sleeping in their bed and so on. Half an hour later, my wife comes home, she went grocery shopping, she carries all the bags, I help her, I put them on a countertop in the kitchen, and we start talking. As I'm unloading the bags, and I said, hey, you know what, I'm moving back in. And she says, no, you're not. I'm like, what? What do you mean I can move back in the house? I'm paying mortgage, I'm paying bills. I missed home, I miss sleeping with you, seeing you, and this and that. And when I looked at her, I looked at her in her eyes, and I'm like, something is wrong. The energy is off. She's not herself. 10 minutes later, I hear a knock on my front door. I open up the doors and there's a sheriff. I'm like, okay, what is sheriff doing over here? And I'm asking her, it was a female police officer, and I asked, what's going on? Oh, sir, your wife called and she says she doesn't feel safe around you.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, okay. So they took me on the side, they took her on the side, they listened to her story, my story, and she says that one of you have to leave the house. And I was in such a shock, like I didn't know what was happening. Is I had my luggage still unpacked, I had it by the front door, And then my wife says, say goodbye to your kids. My son was 7, my daughter was 3 back then. And so I kneeled down on my knees. My daughter was 3, she came by, she gave me this bear hug, and she's like, started crying like, Daddy, don't leave, Daddy, don't leave. Then my son ran down, she gave me another bear hug, and said she didn't know what's going on. They both started crying. And then she's pulling him off, your father's gotta leave, your father's gotta leave. So I felt like a statue. I felt numb, and I felt like someone would stab me in my back with a kitchen knife. Like I blanked out. I was there physically, but mentally I was just, I didn't know what was happening. So as I walked out, I took my luggage, I just walked out, and I'm like, where am I gonna go? Thank God I had my parents here. So I go back home, knock on the doors, my mom's like, what are you doing over here? I'm like, she doesn't want me. She kicked me out. And that was the decision where I said I'm done and I want a divorce. So what I did, I started looking, because I didn't even know what the process looked like. Where do I go? How do I even begin? Who do I even talk to? I don't want to talk to no one. I don't want anybody knowing that I'm going through a divorce. So I went to one attorney. I had to take him off. And I went to another attorney. And the second attorney asked me, hey, did she file? I'm like, I don't know. Then she's like, let me go to the computer, let me check. So she went, she checked, and she's like, she didn't file, but I have some bad news for you. I'm like, okay, what is it? Well, she filed an order of protection against you. I'm like, what is it? Never gotten a problem with the law or anything. Well, she's like, for 21 days, you cannot see your kids, you can text them, call them, don't go nowhere near the house. Nowhere. I'm like, that was another step. I'm like, what do I do? How do I get through this? And so she's like, we have to go to court, we have to get that removed. And on the video camera, I saw how my best friend was changing locks in my home. And I'm like, what's going on? So I only had the luggage of clothes. I needed more clothes, so in order for me to go back home, I had to pull police escort to go in and get my clothes. So ladies and gentlemen, it's been super hard. At that moment, I felt like a failure. I lost my self-identity. I didn't even know who I was, what to do, how do I move on. When I saw her in the court, I couldn't even look at her. 2 best friends, right? We built such a beautiful home, beautiful family. Now we're 2 strangers on a battlefield, destroying everything that we have built. Our family, our finances. After 3 months, divorce were finalized. I had to move it back to my parents' house. Because now I gotta pay child care, child support, my own bills. There's no way with my paycheck I could afford it all. Every single day when I would drive to work, I would be in meetings, but I would be numb. I would get there, come back home, sit on the couch, and just be in this victim mindset. I was angry at God, at myself, at the whole world. God, why me? We had it all. 2 beautiful kids, beautiful home. We had money, cars. We had it all. Why me? Why did this happen to me? I couldn't understand. And I was living in emotional prison cell. My inner dialogue that I had with myself, I did not know that I can turn into such a mean, vicious, nasty person. I hated my ex. When we settled, now I see my kids every other weekend. And every time I would drop them off and pick them up, when I would drop them off, I had this just gut-wrenching feeling, like this hatred. Why did you do this? Every time I would drop off my kids, I would just bum myself. I would just cry myself all the way home. Cried myself to sleep, had suicidal thoughts. But you know what saved me? My 3-year-old daughter. What if? I couldn't imagine my 3-year-old daughter going back to sleep crying to herself that her daddy's not around. So what I did not ask for any help because I feel ashamed. So I started self-help. I started reading self-help books. I started listening to motivational videos, especially Les Brown. Through Mr. Les Brown, I connected with Bob Proctor. Back then, I didn't know what coaching was. None of that stuff. But Jim, listening to motivational videos, all those different things have helped me. Especially Louis Hayes, I don't know if you guys read the book, The Powers Within You. One of the books that I highly recommend. That just totally changed my perspective. So, what I have done to transform my life, I invested in myself. I spent $7,500 in a 6-month program. Never in my life. I had $8,000 left after we paid all of our debt. We sold our home and everything. And I was in the right place at the right time. That coach showed up. Les Brown connected me with another coach. I invested, went through the 6 months, and that did it for me. It completely helped me transform my life. And I'm like, there's so many men, so many women right now going through a divorce. Now I have the experience, now I have the tools. You know what, this is how I have rediscovered my purpose in life. I want to help men and women. I want to help single moms and single dads. Because, ladies and gentlemen, in the United States, it's a pandemic. 50% divorce ratio. Second marriage is around 60%. 80% of divorces are initiated by women. It's a pandemic. It sucks. So who do I work with? I work with single moms, single dads, business owners, entrepreneurs that look beautiful on the outside, beautiful on the social media, but they're broken. But they're broken. There's so many of us that are right now struggling internally. We're emotionally, internally self-destructing. But we are showing that we have it all together, that we have it all figured out. Because we have to, right? Because we're a top executive. Because I have to be strong. We cannot show any weaknesses. Society teaches us not to shed a tear. Be strong. It sucks, it's sad. My support system, I work with divorce attorneys, financial advisors, therapists, realtors, stylists, nutritionists, personal trainers. I have built a community. That's why I'm here asking for your help. Whoever I can partner up with, connect with. There's so many people, I cannot do it all by myself. I need help. That's why conquering together, linking our arms together, we can make a difference. We can help break those generational curses. Because you know what? People are not equipped. Our education system, you can have your MBAs, you can have that. They don't teach us the tools. How do I deal with my emotions? How do I deal with the inner dialogue? With my thoughts, with my feelings? We're not equipped with that. Why so many people, men especially, commit